What is the worst present you have ever received? My dad once bought my mom a dirt bike for her birthday. She was in her 40s at the time. She didn't want a dirt bike. He rode it every day afterwards. He also bought her an outside security light once for her birthday. She did not want an outside security light. They have been very happily married for almost 40 years.
It's kind of funny how gifts can sometimes miss the mark. Your dad really wanted to surprise your mom but ended up getting things she didn't want. But it sounds like they rolled with it. It's nice to hear they've been happy together for so long, despite those quirky gift choices. Just shows that marriage is about more than just the presents, I guess.
In the mid-80s, my brother told my grandmother I was really into neon. As a gift, she bought me a multicolored neon baseball cap, day-glow neon yellow shirt, and neon socks. I had to wear all of them to the restaurant and Dairy Queen afterwards. Edit: I was heavy into Maiden and Slayer at the time. Usually I had a denim jacket with a Power Slave back patch. The neon clashed worse than you could imagine.
That sounds like quite the outfit. Wearing a neon baseball cap and bright clothing must have drawn a lot of attention, especially paired with the denim jacket. It's funny to think about how different styles collide like that. I can picture you walking into the restaurant, feeling a bit out of place but also making a statement. Those memories of family gifts and awkward outfits do stick with you.
My Japanese grandma bought my mom a scale after she gave birth to me. She also gave my older brother a big screen TV for his 10th birthday. On my 10th birthday, I got a box of underwear that were about 5 sizes too big and a lollipop that expired a decade before that. She also started a college fund for all my male cousins. I'm one of the only female grandchildren, so instead of a college fund, I got a plastic surgery fund to fix the scar on my face that she thinks ruins my chance of marrying a nice Asian boy. I said I didn't want the plastic surgery, so she divided my fund up into everyone else's college fund while I took out loans.
That's a wild story. It's interesting how family dynamics can play out like that. Gifts can really reflect someone's priorities or beliefs, sometimes in ways that hurt. It must have been tough to deal with her views, especially when you just wanted support. Life is funny that way, making you navigate through expectations and reality on your own terms.
My grandmother once knitted all her grandchildren wool sweaters. Only problem is that I am allergic to wool. Despite this, she made me wear the sweater, which caused me to break out in hives. She did not care and was really upset when I took the sweater off. For a long time after that, whenever she saw me, she asked me to wear the sweater.
That's a classic grandmother move. It's like they have their own way of showing love, even if it doesn't really work for everyone. Can't blame her for wanting to keep you warm, but it's rough when you're allergic. I can imagine the ridiculousness of the situation, her being upset while you're just trying to avoid a rash. Sometimes they just don't get it.
When I was 8, I loved Pokemon. One Christmas, my family was opening presents, and we started getting towards the end when the big present would be opened. My mom got excited and handed me a present. I open it, and it's the official strategy guide for Pokemon Yellow. I get ridiculously excited. I don't own a Game Boy. I love Pokemon, and I'm getting a Game Boy, and the game where freaking Pikachu follows you around. Then I see my dad's face. He's very concerned. He knows what's going on. I'm not getting a Game Boy. I was never getting a Game Boy. I just got a book with a Pokemon on the front of it because my mom doesn't understand video games. This wasn't the only devastating present from her. One year she bought dog treats and put them in our stockings thinking they were regular cookie biscuit things. I was 12 and my brother was 9, and we thought we were getting a puppy. My mom shouldn't be allowed to buy presents at it. I read the shit out of that strategy guide.
That's a rough Christmas moment. Getting hyped for something and realizing it's just a guide must have stung. I remember a time like that. I got a cool toy, but it was just a keychain of it. My friend was ready to play with it, and I had to explain it wasn't the real deal. It's funny how those little memories stick with you. Sometimes it's the thought that counts, right?
Being forgotten. I was in Japan. My coworkers were going to take me out to my favorite sushi place for my birthday. I was younger, didn't drive at the time. Not a problem. A coworker was going to pick me up. 4 p.m. arrives. No one shows up. 4:45 p.m. I called a friend. Is anyone going to pick me up? Oh, sorry. I'll be there in a few. Thought she was just running late. We were busy at work lately, my day off. Didn't pay any mind to it. 6:30 p.m. arrived. Call her back. Oh, hey. We were wondering where you were. You were my ride. How could you forget? They were all there, enjoying my favorite restaurant. One of them even brought a cake. TLDR. Images/thoughts of my friends and coworkers enjoying my birthday party at my favorite place without me being there.
That's rough. You expected them to celebrate with you, and then they just left you hanging. It's hard not to feel forgotten in those moments. You think someone has your back, but then it turns out they're not even on the same page. Seeing them all enjoying your favorite place without you must have stung. It's a reminder that things don't always go as planned, even if it's your own birthday.
My last birthday, my brother pulled out a gift card he was given for his birthday and handed it to me. Still had his name on it. Year before that, he had to use the bathroom during my birthday dinner. We watched him run across the street and come back with a Tim Hortons gift card saying, "I know how much you love coffee. I have had 2 cups of coffee in my entire life."
That's classic brother behavior. Gift cards without much thought can be pretty funny. It's like he's trying to connect but doesn't really get it. I mean, coffee isn't even your thing. At least he's consistent, always giving you cards. Must be nice to have that kind of sibling dynamic, though. It's all about the thought, right? Even if the gift isn't quite right, it makes for good stories later.
My grandfather used to get me and my 3 siblings the same thing each Christmas. 1 can of silly string, dope, a plastic horse doll, interesting, and a packet of Lisa Frank stickers. We were 3 boys and a girl. Not that the horse is necessarily a girl thing, but it certainly felt like it when it came with Lisa Frank stickers. Just now realizing I never decorated the horses and the stickers. What was I thinking?
Sounds like a unique Christmas tradition. The combination of silly string, a plastic horse, and Lisa Frank stickers is definitely interesting. It's funny how those little gifts can leave a lasting impression. Decorating the horses with stickers could have added a fun twist to it. I guess we all have those moments where we question our decisions from the past.
My grandfather got my sister an electric hand mixer for her 13th birthday, 2007. He was beaming with pride as he recounted the story of his sister. Apparently, she begged their parents to buy her an electric mixer when she went to school in the early 1930s, as all of the girls had their own mixers. She got stuck using one of the school-issued ones, which made her very upset. He told my sister she was to carve her name onto it so that none of the other girls in her classes stole it. My feminist sister looked confused and insulted when she opened it, but looking back, it was the sweetest and only gift he had ever given a grandchild without grandma's help.
It's kind of funny how certain gifts can carry so much meaning. The hand mixer wasn't just a tool, it was a connection to family history. Your grandfather clearly saw value in it based on his own experiences. Your sister's reaction shows how generational gaps can create misunderstandings. Still, it's a unique gift. It might not have been what she expected at first, but it definitely meant something deeper.
A size 2 XL men's wool trench coat. I was a 95-pound, 17-year-old girl. My boyfriend at the time, the gift giver, got mad that I didn't like it. I also didn't really understand it. Like, huh? Why? Edit. His reasoning was that I needed a winter coat. So yeah, this was not some sort of weird sex-related gift as a few of you have suggested.
It's funny how gifts can miss the mark sometimes. I remember a friend got me a huge winter jacket once, and I also didn't get it. I was like, why so big? I guess they thought of practicality over style, but it just sat in my closet. I never brought it out. It's ironic when people think they know what you need, but often they don't.
It wasn't the present itself, it's the context of the present. My birthday is the 24th of December, and my brother's is on the 28th. We're both very used to getting a combined birthday/Christmas present, that's fine. One particular year, my sister bought me a DVD of Hot Fuzz for Christmas. Fuck yeah, I love that movie. The conversation went something like this. Thanks, sister, this is awesome. No worries, Deco87. Now that's a shared birthday and Christmas present for you and your brother. That's right. She spent $20 on a 4-in-1 present for me and my brother. I didn't really care all that much. I'm sure money was tight. I just thought it was a funny piece of ingenuity.
That's kind of a unique situation with the birthdays being so close. It shows how people can think creatively about gifts. You got a movie you like, but it wasn't just for you. It's cool that you were able to appreciate the effort, even if it wasn't the classic separate gifts. Those moments can bring a different kind of value.
My ex-sister-in-law got me an Army Barbie doll for Christmas. As I am a dude, and at the time was in my early 30s, this was a rather bizarre gift choice. When she saw the WTF look on my face, she piped up that it was a collectible. And I know some of you are thinking that it had to be a gag gift. Nope, she was totally serious.
That's an interesting gift choice for sure. I mean, a dude getting an Army Barbie? That's out there. I can see how the reaction was mixed. It's funny how sometimes people really think they know what you would like. You probably had to just roll with it and thank her. Who knows, maybe it's worth something now. Just adds to the collection of odd gifts we all get over time.
I was new at work and had shared that my mother was in prison for setting several houses on fire. For our Secret Santa exchange, one of my lovely co-workers gave me a singe card with a dress that he had set on fire. Everyone thought it was horrible for him to do that. I thought it was hilarious. I guess it's better than a burnt house, but still hilariously awful.
That's a wild story. It's tough being the new person and having a heavy backstory like that. But I get why you'd find the card funny. It's like a dark twist on the whole Santa gift thing. Sometimes a little humor helps lighten the mood, even if it's a bit out there. At least it was all in good fun, and no real fires were involved.
When I was a young kid, I saved up my allowances and bought my sister a Sailor Moon doll. I felt so proud and happy that I had done that for her. It may have been the first time I bought a gift with my own money. She wrapped up some souvenir my parents had gotten from Jamaica on their honeymoon. She laughed and said I fell for her joke. I was furious.
It's funny how things went. You saved up to get your sister that doll, thinking she'd be thrilled. Instead, she hit you with that souvenir gag. Must have stung to put in all that effort just for a punchline. But looking back, it's interesting how those moments make you appreciate the effort behind giving. Even if it didn't go as planned, it's a solid memory.
When I was 8 or 9, my great-grandma Virginia presented me with a neatly wrapped rectangle on Christmas Eve. Oh, great a sweater, I thought, but it turned out to be an open box of Fruity Pebbles with half the cereal missing. Jeez, that whole Great Depression thing must have sucked. Funniest part is my cousin got the other half of the cereal in a Ziploc bag. I guess great-grandma loved me more.
That's an interesting memory. It's funny how gifts can surprise you, especially when they're not what you expect. I can imagine the look on your face when you open that box. Looks like great-grandma had a unique way of sharing. It's nice to have those little moments to look back on, even if they're a bit odd. You've got a story there that stands out for sure.
The limited edition Final Fantasy Advent Children DVD. This gift was from my ex-wife. Now I love Final Fantasy, and I love this movie. So why would this be the worst present I have ever gotten? Well, because I already owned it, and we had watched it several times together. I was given this gift 2 weeks before she took her boyfriend and moved my kids more than 200 miles away. Opening this movie at my birthday was really disappointing, but finding out the reason that she put so little thought into the present a couple weeks later really made it sting all the more.
That's a rough spot. Getting a gift you already own is a letdown, but the timing was worse. It sounds like a bittersweet memory now, especially knowing what was going on behind the scenes. It's tough when something you love becomes a reminder of a difficult time. Those moments hit harder than we expect, and it takes a while to shake that feeling off.
Used hair bows. I was pretty young, 4 years old or so, and my mom's cousin gave me a box of random hair bows that didn't have any store tags or were clearly the ones her daughters didn't want anymore. The cousin is married to an attorney, so they weren't exactly hurting for money, they're just cheap people. My mom wrapped up slightly used puzzles and board games for her kids the following year. The presents improved following that.
It's funny how those early gifts stick with you. I remember getting hand-me-down toys from relatives, too. They weren't flashy, but I appreciated them. My parents also liked to save money, so we got a mix of new and used stuff. I guess that's how you learn value. In the end, they always made sure we had something to enjoy, no matter where it came from.
For my wedding gift, I got a heartfelt email from my dad. The email was about how he was so happy that I invited him to my wedding because that meant he got to take time off work for a vacation and have a wonderful time. It was filled with pictures of all the places he went, details of all the awesome things he did, etc. His vacation occurred during the week before the wedding, and he went on this trip by himself. Edit. For those asking, he did come to the wedding after his vacation. This was the only gift we received from him for our wedding. It was like a douchey wedding card.
That's an interesting take on a wedding gift. A heartfelt email is one thing, but it sounds like he prioritized his vacation over the wedding. I get that people have their own way of celebrating, but it does feel a bit off. At least he made it to the wedding in the end. Sometimes people just show their love or support in unexpected ways.
When I was 16, I got a fake winning scratch-off lottery ticket. I can still remember it. The adrenaline rush as I etched off three $50,000 amounts. I don't think my first kiss was even that exciting. After what felt like an eternity, probably like 1 to 2 minutes, my mom told me to look at the back to find out where to claim it. You must claim this ticket within 5 seconds of scraping it off. Not valid in the U.S., Canada, or Mexico. This is fake, but my sister got a laptop. Good for her.
That's wild. I can see how you felt that rush, thinking you hit it big. That moment must have been filled with hope, only for it to crash with that reality check from your mom. It's funny how something like that can stick with you, even if it didn't end well. At least your sister got something good out of it. Just goes to show, nothing comes easy.
Here's a reverse situation. Picture it, it's 1997, and one of my favorite aunts was moving away. She was elderly and wanted to go live with her sons, which live up north here in Ontario. It was IRC, a good 12-hour drive to and from. She came out to see my mom and I one last time before leaving. Before she left, she gave me a video game for the computer, which I had just gotten the year prior. The game in question? She's going Interceptor. I hadn't heard of the series before and was thinking at the time, yeah, this game will suck ass. This is the worst gift ever, Jesus. I acted grateful and was all thank you so much. I didn't bother touching it. 3 years or so later, I found the game shoved in a drawer and decided to play it, still thinking it would suck. It was fucking awesome. That game is seriously awesome. Edit. I never really thought about it before, but I really miss her sad face. She passed away in 2009 or so. Cancer got her, and I hadn't seen or talked to her since 1997.
This story hits hard. It's weird how we sometimes overlook gifts that end up meaning a lot later on. That game turned out to be a surprise hit, and it sounds like it holds memories of your aunt too. It's moments like these that make you appreciate the people in your life. Losing someone you care about is tough, and remembering them through something like a game is a nice way to keep their memory alive.
I got a vest from my aunt. A receipt came in the box, too, showing it was bought 7 months prior. I have a feeling it was a gift to her son, probably as a birthday present. Well, he had overdosed just weeks after that, and they probably found it in his stuff, and then it was re-gifted to me much later. TL. Dar. I was given a present that was originally given to my now-dead cousin.
That's a pretty heavy situation. It must feel strange to wear something with that kind of history attached to it. The thought of it being a gift for your cousin and then finding its way to you is kind of wild. It's like a reminder of what happened, but also a connection to family. Sometimes gifts have deeper stories than we realize.
When I was 16, my parents destroyed my childhood hopes and dreams. It was Christmas morning. My heart leapt with excitement for the presents I would be unwrapping. I yonder downstairs and see it. My stocking. It's one of the oversized ones, probably about 1 meter long, and it's stuffed. This thing is literally bursting at the seams. I sprint downstairs and rip the stocking open, my parents smiling down at me. Then I saw it. Packing chips. Hundreds of parking chips filled my stocking. At first I assumed that there would be something hidden inside. Perhaps a new video game? I rummaged through the stocking like a rabid animal making a new home. But to my disappointment, there was nothing. My parents literally gave me a stocking full of nothing for Christmas. Coal would have been better.
That sounds rough. It's tough when expectations don't match reality, especially on a day like Christmas. I remember having a similar experience. I was hoping for a cool gadget and ended up with a bunch of socks instead. It's like they want to teach us a lesson about the true meaning of the season, but that lesson doesn't feel great when you're a kid. We just want the fun stuff.
My family used to do a Christmas grab back in the day. My older cousin called me that morning and asked if I still like baseball. I said yes. When he arrived, I was given a book on Chinese baseball players. Writing this makes me feel like an ungrateful little shit, but it was, well, a book on Chinese baseball players.
Yeah, I can see how that felt. You expect something cool for Christmas, and then you get a book instead. I guess it hits different when you're a kid and looking for toys or something fun. At least your cousin thought of you. Just goes to show that gifts can miss the mark sometimes. Still, it's a memory.
A week before my 6th or 7th birthday, my aunt's shitty boyfriend bragged to me about how he was building me this huge Star Wars Lego set that had like 5,000 pieces. I received a card with single pack of Digimon cards along with some clothes. And here's the kicker. A few weeks after I asked him where my Star Wars Legos were, he pointed at the door to his office and said, "It's in there. I couldn't give it to you because it's so huge I didn't finish it on time. Just give me a few more days to work on it. Must be pretty fucking huge if it takes 15 years to build."
That's a rough birthday memory. It's always disappointing when expectations get crushed like that. A big promise turned into a single pack of cards. And the excuse about needing more time, that's just classic. Sounds like he really didn't follow through. It's funny how something that was supposed to be exciting just ended up being a letdown. At least you can look back now and laugh about it.
On a friend's 16th birthday, his mom decided to get him a pool table that hadn't been paid in full. She told him that he had to pay for the remainder for the pool table, which had been placed on lay-by. He worked at a petrol station all summer and finally managed to pay it off after 3 months of hard work. 2 months later, his mom moved houses and sold his pool table without telling him. She kept the money.
That's pretty rough. Putting in all that effort to pay off something you really wanted, only to have it sold without your knowledge. I can't imagine how he felt finding out that his mom did that. It's a tough lesson in trust and expectations, especially from someone so close. Just makes you realize that not everyone values the same things.
I like to read. My family knows this and gets me books often. When I was a very sheltered teenager, my uncle got me some books that were pretty obviously chosen by cover. Looks like something my religious niece would like here on the clearance table. A couple with TV preachers on them, etc. One of them had cartoony nuns and a soldier and a jeep and a donkey on the front. It was not religious. It was very, very educational.
That sounds like a classic mix-up. It's funny how adults think they know what you'll like just by the cover. Those books must have felt out of place for you at that age. Instead of the usual stories, you got something unexpected, probably made you think differently about what reading could be. It's cool to see how those choices can lead to discovering new interests.
When I was a kid, my parents forgot my birthday. They remembered later in the day, snuck into my room, put some of my toys in a plastic grocery bag, and tried to pass it off as a gift. Had me fooled until my organized little self went to go put my duplicate toys on the shelf next to my identical toys that were now missing. Yup, happy 6th birthday.
That's pretty rough. It's strange how parents can forget things like birthdays. I get how you felt, thinking you got a gift, only to realize they just grabbed what was already yours. Kids notice these things. For me, I remember once getting a cake that wasn't even mine. Celebrating with friends made up for it, though. It's those little moments that stick with you, even if they didn't go as planned.
Never got it, but I found out on my birthday that my friends were planning on getting me a dildo. I thought it was a joke at first, but I guess they told everyone and I found out by asking someone else. I wouldn't have been that mad if it was something spontaneous, but they've been leading me on for some big birthday present 4 months prior to my actual birthday. So when I found out what I was getting, I was pretty pissed to say the least. Not to mention, they buy all of their other friends gifts, but seem to refuse to get me one. Even 2 months after my birthday. Sad face.
That's a rough one. Sounds like your friends dropped the ball. Planning for 4 months and ending up with a joke gift can feel pretty disappointing. It's tough to see others get thoughtful gifts while you feel left out. Maybe a conversation with them would help. They probably didn't mean to upset you, but it's clear their idea of a gift didn't hit the mark.
I don't have one. Why? Because the worst present I have gotten was 13 years in the making. For 13 years, I never got a birthday present, a Christmas present. Any holiday you name, I didn't celebrate it. Why? Because I was a Jehovah's Witness. Every single gift that I got for those 13 years was awesome, because it wasn't a common occurrence. Even now, the past 2 years of holidays have been great. The best. So I guess I do have a worst gift ever. Cult.
That's quite a unique perspective on gifts. Not having the usual celebrations makes the few you do have stand out more. It sounds like those recent holidays have been really meaningful to you, almost like a long overdue celebration. It's interesting how sometimes what seems like a negative experience can lead to a deeper appreciation down the line. Glad to hear you're enjoying the holidays now.
It was a family Christmas thing at my grandparents'. I didn't really know the rest of the family BC. I lived a couple states away. Anyway, the other kids were getting cool toys and whatever. I don't remember exactly, but I was getting more and more hype. I get to mine, unwrap it, and it's a dirt devil box. Like a little vacuum cleaner. But I know this trick, my parents would hide the best gifts in silly boxes. I got a little more hype, especially BC, a couple grown-ups were starting to giggle. So I opened the box. No, it was a dirt devil. I cried.
That sounds rough. Family gatherings can be awkward, especially when you don't know many people. It's tough to build up excitement, only to end up with a vacuum cleaner. Kids can be brutal about gifts, and it's natural to feel let down. At least the adults found it funny, but that probably made it worse for you. It's funny how those moments stick with us, even if they feel terrible at the time.
My mom and stepdad got me a waffle maker since I loved waffles so much. It would have made sense if I was in my 20s, but I was 9. Oh, and they wrapped up some shells to make it look like a keyboard. I was very disappointing since A, it was shells when I was 9 and B, I had to assemble them. I was sad.
That's a rough birthday gift for a 9-year-old. A waffle maker sounds cool, but getting shelves instead of a toy or something fun is just off. I mean, at that age, assembling furniture wasn't really what you wanted. You probably just wanted to munch on those waffles without the extra effort. Definitely not what you imagined for a gift. Disappointing moments shaped your taste for better presents later on.
When I was 14, I was obsessed with NoFX, and all I talked about that year was wanting a bass guitar for my birthday. Well, flash forward several months to my birthday dinner at Chili's when my aunt handed me my gift. It was in a small box, so I was curious when she said, "Your mom told me about this," and I quickly unwrapped one of those stupid Billy Big Mouth talking bass pieces of shit. I still have no idea if it was an inside joke or a severe miscommunication, but I ended up selling it on eBay for like $200 when they got super popular and sold out everywhere, and I used that money to buy a bass guitar.
That's pretty funny. Imagine being so hyped for a bass guitar and ending up with a talking fish. It's unclear if your aunt was joking or just missed the memo. The good part is you flipped it for a nice chunk of change and got the real deal. It's cool how things worked out in the end. Sometimes you just have to roll with the punches.
I got this. My dad is the king of bad presents. Throughout my teenage years, he gave me a trash can and 14 bags of popcorn for my 14th birthday, 15 cans of corn for my 15th birthday, 16 cans of pineapple for my 16th birthday, a self-printed t-shirt carrying an elaborate joke, including a reference from my favorite book and my face edited on one of its characters, telling me to clean my room, and a meat grinder. 18 frozen burger patties for my 18th birthday, a wood/styrofoam chair a month before I was moving 4,000 kilometers away by plane. Oddly enough, my siblings, who got expensive gifts from him, claim I'm his favorite because he always tried to be thoughtful with my presents. Yeah, he's on the autism spectrum.
That's a unique way to show love, I guess. Your dad's gift choices definitely have a pattern, and it's kind of heartwarming in a weird way. At least there's some humor in those presents. It's interesting how he connects with you, even if it's not in the usual way. Seems like those memories will stick with you, maybe more than any expensive gift ever could.
Mine was during Christmas one year. My grandmother used to get gifts for all the grandchildren and great-grandchildren, but there was too many of us, and she was getting too old to shop. So, she gave us all cards with $20 except mine, which had nothing. Obviously, it was a simple mistake at her age, and I wasn't upset as I actually found it kind of funny. I showed my mom, who was sitting next to me, and she started laughing too.
That's a nice story. It's interesting how little things like that can stick with you. I can imagine the surprise when you opened the card and found nothing. It's good that you saw the humor in it. Sometimes the little moments with family are what really count, even if they're unexpected. Your gran probably felt bad later, but it shows how caring she was in her own way. Just a memorable Christmas.
My bro dropped some change on the ground and didn't feel like picking it up, so he said I could have it if I wanted. One of the pennies was 100 years old. After I found it, he demanded I give it back. I didn't. After I got home, it disappeared. He later gave it back to me on my birthday because I deserved it.
This is classic sibling stuff. Your bro drops some change and then acts like he owns it. Finding a 100-year-old penny is kind of rare. It's funny he wanted it back after you found it. The whole thing about it disappearing and then reappearing on your birthday feels a bit like a prank, but it's nice he recognized you deserved it. At least you got the penny in the end.
Please consider subscribing if you enjoyed. Love.